Hi all, we're going to discuss about fuel cells. In this session, we'll see what are fuel cells, what are important components of fuel cells, and we'll take one example of fuel cells, nothing but methanol oxygen fuel cells, and we'll discuss in detail about the construction and working of methanol oxygen fuel cells. So let us see what are fuel cells. Okay. Yeah. See, we all know that I'm not going in detail about all this combustion process and all. In simple, if I can tell, during the combustion process of converting one form of energy into another form of energy, we know that there's a huge loss of energy in each and every step. Energy efficiency decreases or will get around 35 to 40% of efficiencies obtained during this process, during a simple combustion process. If we can replace this combustion process by some other means, we can increase the efficiency. For example, if you can replace this combustion process by redox reactions, the efficiency can be improved by 70 to 75%. So such possibility exists, the possibility of replacing combustion reactions by redox reaction exists in fuel cells. So the fuel cells which we are going to discuss are the galvanic cells in which one form of energy, which form of energy, chemical form of energy of a fuel is directly converted to electrical energy. How? By means of redox reaction, not by combustion, by means of redox reaction, which involves what? The redox reaction between the fuels and oxidants. So these are simple galvanic cells where we are converting chemical energy into electrical energy by redox reaction between fuels and oxidants. Hope it is clear. So you should understand this is a simple electrochemical device where we are converting one form of energy to another form by simple redox reactions. Okay, so we'll see how a fuel cell can be represented. A simple fuel cells are represented like this. We have a fuel, we have an anode electrode, we have an electrolyte, we have another cathode electrode, and we have an oxidant. So if you go for the redox reaction, the fuel undergoes oxidation and the oxidant undergoes reduction. So the fuel forms oxidized product, and when the electrons are liberated, the flow of electrons, which is what we are expecting. So during this overall fuel cell reaction, a fuel combined with oxidant to form an oxidized product and reduced product. Is it clear? So this is a simple electrochemical device. By simply converting one form of chemical energy to electrical energy by redox reaction. For that, we need an electrolyte, we need an electrode, we need an anode, cathode, fuel, and oxidant. Okay. So what are some of the special features of fuel cells? Already I have told. For the reactions to happen, we need electrodes. We need two catalytically active electrodes. We need an oxidant. We need a reductant. And importantly, the fuel and oxidants are not stored in the cell. Okay, it's very compact. In a fuel cells, always the redox reaction happens between the fuel and oxidant. So this is an energy conversion devices. Fuel cells are energy conversion devices. We are not storing any energy here. It's an eco-friendly device. And as I told in the beginning here, the fuel undergoes oxidation, whereas the oxidants undergo reduction. This redox reaction is responsible for the conversion or is possible for the generation of the energy. Okay, so we'll see by taking one example. So today we are going to see how methanol oxygen fuel cell works or how it works. So as I told, we need an anode, we need a cathode, we need an electrolyte, we need a fuel, we need an oxidant, all these things. So when you take a methanol oxygen fuel cell, as the name itself indicates, the fuel used is methanol and the oxygen used is oxygen. The anode, it's a porous nickel impregnated with platinum palladium catalyst, and cathode is a porous nickel impregnated with silver catalyst. Here, the electrolyte used is sulfuric acid H2SO4. We use a membrane, which is a proton exchange membrane, and the operating temperature is 50 to 120 degrees Celsius. Is it clear? These are the different components working. We'll see how it works and how the reaction happens. Okay, so this is an anode, cathode, fuel. So name itself, at least you should write that fuel. What is the fuel used? Methanol. Which is oxidant? Oxygen. Which is anode, cathode. All these things you should know. And this is a simple. You can, if you observe the picture, you can see how we inlet water, methanol plus water. What happens? What comes from cathodic compartment? What comes from anodic compartment? So how the reaction happens? We'll see how the reaction happens now next. So if you are taking H2SO4 as the electrolyte, these are the possible reactions. See, there will be a possible liberation of electrons. Electrons flows from anode to cathode. Correct? So the cathodic reaction is half O2 plus 2H plus 2 electron, which give water. So the overall reaction is what? Methanol plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide plus water. Carbon dioxide plus water. So this should be very clear when you discuss, when you understand this methanol oxygen fuel cells. Okay. So let's see another one more fuel cell, or the same type methanol oxygen fuel cell with KOH as the electrolyte. Before we used acid as electrolyte, H2SO4. Here we are using KOH as the electrolyte. We'll see what are the possible reactions. There is no other difference. Okay, everything is the same. So if you use this KOH as the electrolyte, you can see during the anodic reaction, carbon dioxide plus water will be liberated, and during the cathodic reaction, we can see that hydroxide ions will be liberated. Here also, the product of methanol oxygen fuel cell is carbon dioxide and water. See, the basic difference between two types is that only in one the electrolyte used is H2SO4, the other one the electrolyte used is OH minus. So these two are the different forms of methanol oxygen fuel cells, where one we use electrolyte as an acid, and another one we use electrolyte as electrolyte used is KOH. Okay. So these are the different applications of fuel cells. We can use it in portable automotive or mobile applications. We can use for powering laptop, computers, cell phones, digital cameras. Fuel cell vehicles are available now. A lot of applications, spacecraft, because of this byproduct which can be used. Water can be used. So any consumables which require long-lasting power, we can use this fuel cells. So just some of the differences between these batteries and fuel cells. So as I told, batteries are energy storage devices, fuel cells are energy conversion device. So the active materials are stored in the battery, but we are supplying both fuel and oxygen are supplied from outside. We are not storing any active materials. Not necessary that active materials which are used in batteries are environmentally friendly, but the products which are obtained in which are obtained from fuel cells are environmentally friendly. Okay, so this is a explanation for fuel cells. So we have seen what are fuel cells. different components of fuel cells, and we discussed in detail about methanol oxygen fuel cell by using sulfuric acid electrolyte and KOH as the electrolyte. Thank you all.